Location.
There's a reason that the properties are cheaper in those regions.
Moving to France without taking advice. Full stop.
What's the number one mistake that you see people making with buying a French property?
Well, if they've got a business plan of some sort, not thinking it through enough, as in JEETs or rentals, they quite often JEET plans, they tend to actually choose the buildings as opposed to the area.
Location. A lot of them come over and they want to have, we want to be isolated, we want to be just around French, we don't want any English. That's the most common mistake, and they don't speak French. And so I struggled with learning French when I got there, and it is hard. You don't just pick up a language like you do when you're a child.
They're probably drawn toward properties in cheaper regions because they get more for their money. But there's a reason that the properties are cheaper in those regions because they're not as bustling and popular. For example, we have people that don't know whether to buy in the Lot-et-Garonne or buy in the Charente, and they're drawn to the Charente for the big imposing properties that are lovely.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why they're lovely and cheap.
Yeah.
And they're cheap because you can drive for 20 minutes and not see a person. After 6 months, when the only person you're talking to is your husband, and the only person you're seeing each week, apart from your husband's the postman, your dream turns into a bit of a nightmare. So it is important that you find somewhere that is, it's lively in winter as well. It's not just a tourist attraction for July and August.
I don't think they realise the distances. You could be 10 kilometres from your nearest village. You're living in the middle of nowhere. You won't get to meet anyone. You won't be walking to the boulangerie or walking to the restaurant, and you will feel isolated. And we see so many people who've bought this property with isolation moving out of it and having to move again so that they have more of a community, because it's not like the UK where you've got masses of traffic because you live in a town, and if you're living on the road it's not going to have hundreds of cars. You might have a tractor going past you. It's in the countryside. But I think that's a big mistake, is being too rural or thinking you want that much isolation when you could be on the edge of a village and you'll still be much more isolated than you are in the UK.
What's the number one mistake that you see French property buyers making?
Moving to France without taking advice. Full stop.
Yeah.
And then worry about it after they've arrived and found that they've missed the opportunity.
Not considering how best to own their property, just sort of going in and not taking advice on the different property structures that are available.
As possible as well, getting someone like us involved as soon as possible so that they can receive the advice before they buy the property, rather than retrospectively thinking, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done it this way instead.
The number one mistake I see French property buyers make is to jump into a property that they have fallen in love with without doing the due diligence on making sure that they can do what they want to do to it. So we get lots of calls from people going, oh, I really excitedly bought this bit of land and I really want to build a house on it, and we have to deliver the bad news that actually the planning policy means you can't, or you've bought a field, which is great, but that's all it's going to ever be. We always advise people, if they fall in love with a place, and it's only going to work for them if they can renovate it, extend it, or build new on the field, let's give us a shout and let us check that the policies are in place before they buy it, because it can be an expensive mistake to make.